Hello, everybody. My name is Kent Bewley. The career field that I am aiming to enter is the journalistic reporter industry, and I look to accomplish writing a sufficient number of stories over several years that will be seen as a form of honest reporting with integrity and truth as my core values. At this time, I am still relatively inexperienced as a journalistic reporter, as my only experience as a journalist is a couple semesters of reporting on stories written for the student newspaper at my previous institution, but I have a primitive passion for writing articles and engaging with the local community on a variety of topics such as sports and community events. This can be a Darwinian strategy of occupying the perfect niche, and according to Green, finding a niche in the ecology that a person can dominate in requires patience and a particular strategy. For me, that strategy is currently tailored at gaining more familiarity with different variations of reporting on the digital side, as my master's program at Full Sail University is new media journalism. Next, I gained another insight from avoiding the false path, and that is the need for for money, fame, attention, and other things according to Green. I can relate to this as I once had dreams of being a star basketball player when I was a kid, but I did not do enough to devote myself towards that dream. And after I did not make the cut for my high school basketball team in 3 separate years, I decided to move on and focus on my educational pursuits, which leads me to the adaptation strategy part of my journey. I had to adapt to different changes during my time in college, including having to deal with taking online classes during the COVID pandemic. Something that I take from that unpleasant period is if change is forced upon me as it was for Freddie Roach, I must resist the temptation to overreact or feel sorry for myself. Green states this as a part of letting go of the past, something that I have had to do on multiple occasions in leaving dark periods of my life behind in dust. After this pandemic period had passed, I transferred to the institution where I gained a bachelor's degree and so much more. I also found my passion for reporting while taking classes connected to my major of communication studies and interviewing different people for specific stories that I wrote. I currently feel a profound connection to the field of journalistic reporting, as I have written plenty of personal stories on my blog site. This stage of my life applies to the primal inclination strategy in returning to my origins of having a dream career path once again. To conclude my story, the one strategy that had me incorporate a turning point in my young life was the life or death one. I had a difficult first year at my alma mater that challenged me spiritually and psychologically. I had an unfair roommate situation that eventually left me all alone. And due to me being so immersed in my studies, I wasn't able to devote myself to forming relationships with my peers. I eventually moved back home and started going through the process of healing and realizing that I had a reason to keep going and find something that I could be passionate towards and devote myself to. Little did I know that registering for a couple of classes connected to the student newspaper for the fall semester that year would change my path for the better and lead me to form relationships I still have today. So, with everything stated, there are a couple things I can do to continue achieving my career path towards journalistic reporting. Firstly, I will continue writing posts on my blog site on WordPress and expand into different subjects other than the ones I have been covering. Rather than sports or current events, I could report on stories more relevant to the local community that I live in. Also, being more active in a job search for a journalistic reporter or copywriter role can be something that I gear myself towards in these next few weeks. I have had plenty of failed attempts in recent months, but that does not mean I should stop trying. Thank you for watching.